Hey everybody, welcome to PVD Horror. Today I am here to discuss a very special film. We're talking about The Carpenter's Son, which is going to be hitting theaters nationwide on November 14th of this year. And to join me discussing it today, I have Lotfy Nathan and I have Noah Jupe. Thank you guys both so much for being here.
Thank you.
So this is a very interesting film. And Lotfy, maybe you can just, for our listeners, give like a really quick kind of brief synopsis of what this film is about.
The film is about a family in the early and in antiquity, around 15 AD, that is in hiding, and the young boy in the family, teen, who is discovering some innate power, you know, divine power, which at the time uh, would have been a frightening prospect for other people, um, and the first encounter with this great opponent. I'm trying to speak around who the characters are,
Yeah.
but
They're very notable characters. So let's
yeah,
just put it
yeah.
that way.
But that's the synopsis is my the buy-in I would like people to have. It isn't so explicit in the beginning, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So there is some let's say religious tie-ins in this film. We'll put it that way. And I think that it's interesting too, because like we don't always get a platform to like speak about films that touch on things of this nature within the horror genre. I think that can be sometimes not things that people correlate unless we're talking about like an exorcism film, right? Which this is not. So Lotfy, I just want to ask you, like, as far as kind of getting the label horror or supernatural, I read this interesting quote where you were kind of comparing those genre labels almost to like a painter choosing colors to create an image, right? Do you think people are going to find it shocking to find a story of this nature within those genres?
I think so. I think it's inevitable. I mean, I'm not naive in that, going into this, I knew that there would be controversy with it. It's not why I made it, but and the horror element, that genre, to me, like I said, it really is just it's a vehicle, it's a narrative vehicle, and it's to me, it comes from looking at this story and this period with realism in mind, you know. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that actually it's part of the strong tradition of Christian art, in fact, and you look at uh works in the past. You've got the Last Judgment, terrifying. Dante's Inferno. I talk about those things, and I think that those are precious, and that it actually is a very profound thing for people to see both dimensions, what's at stake. So that's really where it comes from.
Yeah. You know, I as I was like kind of thinking about your statement and watching the film, I'm like, I'm actually kind of surprised that more people haven't seen the correlation between that genre and these stories, because there's a lot that happens that is would be terrifying if any of us were going through these situations and are somewhat inexplicable to us. So, I'm kind of glad you're bringing a little light into that. And I know that also it sounded like there was some personal connection to telling the story, just as far as like how you came across some of this and wanting to tell that.
Yeah, well, I was raised Coptic Orthodox Christian, which is a very devout sect of Christianity, a very old one in its roots. And I mean, ironically, the other side of the controversy, besides horror and that genre in itself being touchy for people, is the idea that Jesus could have had human traits, and fallibility, which some people won't agree with. The Coptic Christians don't agree with, you know, my own family. But to me, that was just you know, my relationship with Christianity. I'm interested in it from the human angle, from what I can relate to. So it's sort of like an effort to make it feel relatable. It's
Absolutely.
not, and it's not from a cynical place, but I think it's actually valuable to feel a contemporary connection, you
Yeah.
know?
And
Um,
just really quick, I know time is of the essence here, and no, I didn't want to leave you out. Just one thing before we go, like, no, people might recognize you from, the Quiet Place films or Honey Boy. You're tackling some heavy things here. You're one movie, you have to like express so much fear within the realm of silence. Here, it's like spirituality. Honey Boy is kind of retelling another story. Has that been challenging for you to take these roles? And then I know we got to wrap, but I just wanted to ask that.
Completely challenging and completely terrifying, but that is exactly how I want to do it for the rest of my life.
I I love that. That's very well said. All right, The Carpenter's Son, Nicolas Cage, FKA Twigs, Noah Jupe, Lotfy Nathan directing. November 14th. Check it out in theaters. Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you guys for joining me.
thank
Appreciate
you
it.
very much.
Pretty. All of you are very pretty.